everyone, how's it going? I'm DK.
I'm Rizzo.
And I'm Zero, and today in Anime Reaction, watch the 12th episode of Alderamin on the Sky.
If you want to check out our reaction to the 12th episode of Alderamin on the Sky, hit that link in the description below.
And be sure to give us feedback in the comment section because we love hearing from you.
And as always, if you like what you see, subscribe to Otaku Saga, and don't forget to like and share our videos.
And thanks for watching. So, on this episode of Alderamin on the Sky, we actually got through most of the defense.
Yeah.
Like,
The first 6 days.
yeah, they expected a defense for 7 days.
Or 7 days.
We've reached the morning of the 6th day.
Yep.
Let's see. During that defense, they have the captain and God, I forget that
Torway.
Yeah, Torway. They have the captain and Torway's platoon go to a fortress on the east side.
Because they saw people
West side of the battlefield.
just to watch the flank.
Yeah, just to watch the flank. I think it had to do with that narrow pass that they were talking about in previous episodes.
Yeah, because Ita pretty much realized that what they call the Karm?
Yeah.
Katal. The assassins were going to attack from that
Well,
way.
the assassins needed kind of the perfect location to be able to attack.
Right.
They needed an area that's narrow that the troops that they're attacking won't be able to retreat from. And they need an area where they can hide while they attack.
There you have
So
it.
that's the reason why they haven't attacked the main force, which is kind of out on a plateau.
Yeah.
So
On the way out, Ikta gives a warning to Torway that there might be an attack on day 3 or 4. And he said that.
Totally called it.
yeah, I'm wondering why he called it that much, though. Like how he called it to that particular extent.
Well, he did say that it would take them that long to get ready for an attack.
Yeah, it might take that long to get ready for an attack. You also got to think of how you have to manage the terrain properly. You have to take a look around and scout out properly and stuff like that. Make sure you're gonna set up the ambush correctly.
And also move, down slow enough pace that you don't draw attention either.
Yeah. So that might be it. Those are just my guesses. It is
just a guess because Ida doesn't really go into detail as to how he knows it.
Yeah,
So
it
take that
doesn't show how his mind works.
It's the plot armor genius.
Yeah.
Actually, I would actually like this series more if it did try to visualize Ikta's strategies.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, just
Well, it's kind of the just what you're gonna see in writing like this, where the main character is supposed to be like a super genius at what he does, because it's kind of hard to fake that. So unless you're a genius at tactics yourself, you're probably not going to be able to come up with a tactic that's appropriately genius enough for him. So the best thing to do is cut a little bit of corners in explaining things, so it seems more like he's
just naturally gifted.
Yeah, he's just naturally gifted.
Okay, I can sort of see that. And besides, this it seems to be more focused on the end result and just how clever it is.
You want to make it better? Hire an expert. Just listen to him.
Well, I mean, you see the same thing in like detective stories and stuff. Stories about great detectives. It's you got to skip over some of that reasoning to make it seem like more of a miraculous.
Yeah, but I mean, if you at least try to brush up on it, that can separate your Arthur Conan Doyle's from your dime novel authors.
True.
So.
But
just a little bit now.
That's kind of where I
over
think
my
most
head.
Yeah, that's kind of where I think a lot of the skipping over his reasoning is coming from in this.
But anyway, he did give him a warning. He said, "Be ready. They're going to attack from the rear, most likely."
Lo and behold, here they come.
And they attacked from a high ridge on the rear, just out of range, or just in range of their rifles. And so Torway
gets on a higher ridge,
just in range of their rifles.
Yeah.
There you go.
And slaughters them. I mean, straight up.
Oh,
like,
man,
he kills more than half of them, and then the
retreat.
other half retreat. straight into awaiting
A firing
soldier.
line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
an awaiting firing line. They executed them. They
Total
destroyed
slaughter. No one got away.
Yeah.
On the other
one's
side,
captured, no one gets away.
No
Yep.
quarter.
on the other side, we find that there are I forgot this guy's name, but the
Jean?
Yeah, Jean. Jean is roaming above the forest in a blimp.
Yeah.
Dude,
Which
Team
Ikta
Rocket.
did not expect because the
Alderamin hate
the Alderamin
technology like that.
I wouldn't necessarily say
Or-
technology. Again, it's kind of going into that ideology of like, having something that flies would be encroaching in God's domain.
They also kind of don't like, well, they say later on that they don't like the cannons that are brought out either.
Because
so I
they
guess-
use sun.
They use sunlight.
they
right.
use sun energy.
Yeah,
I
it's
Anything that
think it all
uses
just has
spirit.
to go back to that.
So anything that uses like spirit power, any sort of spirit technology, they don't like.
no, it's not
No,
spirit
I don't
power.
think that
It's
that's what it is.
It's actually something that happened a lot in the Dark Ages. Scientists who attempted to use nature and stuff like that,
Right.
and tried to
Explain
and
things that
Explain
are
the
previously
world.
attributed to God's
God.
will or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah. When people try to explain away God and just say this is what
Yeah.
science says,
And yet it moves and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just saying for the sake of this world, because I think the blimps only fly because of wind spirits or something like that. Or using
nope.
the
The blimps
it's actually like an actual balloon.
Yeah, the blimps they probably are just balloons.
Yeah.
And because they are natural,
If they do use a spirit, it'd probably be like the fire spirits
yeah.
to create hot air. But
And then the sun is God's.
that's probably more from the light spirits like Ikta has. But yeah, I just think that it's because they're encroaching upon God's domain or something like that.
Icarus
Yeah,
Icarus. got too close to the sun.
Primitive morons got it.
yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Religious morons.
Religious fanatics. But anyway, let's see. So basically, he uses the balloon to spot the Imperial troop movements, and then he also has the balloon fly over a section of the forest, and he has cavalry running around underneath. Which at first Ikta can't figure out what's going on with that.
Yeah, at first I thought they were like trying to like maybe pave a path, perhaps, for them to attack, but that turns out not to be the case.
Instead, what they end up doing is
I was going to get to that a little bit later.
okay.
Oh,
Because there is a lot of stuff that happened in between that.
Go for it, Chief.
Yeah, so basically Ikta decides to use a tactic that has been proven to work, where basically you send out the troops for a period of time and then bring them back to rest for a period of time rather than just leaving them out on the front lines.
And just
Yeah.
rotating people.
Yeah. I've made a lot of kind of comparisons to World War I in this, just from the idiocy of the generals. But that was actually a tactic that was used in World War I along the Entente trenches in the Western Front, the French, British, and later American troops. Basically what would happen is you'd be in the front trenches for a period of time, a couple of weeks or maybe a few weeks. Then you get rotated to the second line of trenches to back up the first line. Then you get rotated back further, and then you get R&R, then you'd go back to the front lines. Whereas the German trenches, they just left everybody up there
As
for an
long as
extended
whatever.
period of time, and they just replaced troops as they fell rather than
trying
replacing
to keep them
units.
alive. Ah.
Basically, it's better for morale.
Yeah.
That's basically the long and short of it. But so what Ikta's doing is keeping the troops really fresh.
Yeah.
And it also helps keep units together rather than like I was saying, just restocking the lost troops. So you'd end up having people that had been there for months or years,
and they're just haggard.
With people who just got done with basic training and put up there.
Yeah, no unit cohesion, and like I said, loss of morale because the old guys get to see the F and Gs, so we'd call them.
But yeah, I mean that's basically what this tactic kind of reminds me of is the rotation.
It's just a much faster, more of a daily shift.
Yeah, it kind of goes with the fact that this is a 7-day defensive rather than like a month or year long
campaign.
Yeah, so obviously the timetables are much quicker, but basically you get several hours of work, several hours of rest. Several hours of work, several hours of rest.
Kind of like being on watch on a ship, huh?
Yeah, kind of. But so towards the end of the episode, we find that there's several wagons that are coming towards the front lines that are hauling something that's covered. And as we find out that something is these giant explosive cannons. And basically what it's explained that they do is they harness the energy from the sun and turn that into an explosive force. And then they launch a cannonball with that explosive force and it explodes on impact.
So
they're
portable
massive.
spirit bomb.
Yeah, I mean they're massive.
They're the heavy artillery.
They are field artillery.
Yeah.
And the thing that I thought was very interesting is they had, for the majority of this, I could understand the majority of the technology, right? Because
basically you see like the kind of bellows looking stuff.
Yeah.
Where it puffs out, and then every time they fire a shot, it flips back in.
Right.
And you can tell that that's used to concentrate the air for whatever force is required to drive the bullet out of the weapon.
But knowing how bellows works, you
this one
air,
this one it starts out closed and then opens up, which would actually suck it back
in.
So, no, I'm just assuming that it's more harnessing the sun energy to launch it rather than air.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure why they'd actually put bellows on that.
I
was thinking it was more of an animation error.
It could be that too.
Maybe they meant for it to close, but they just didn't do it.
They did it wrong or whatever.
Something.
But basically, so with using these, they're able to destroy the defenses through the flames and then ride their cavalry through the opening that they made.
Giant Force would approve.
The
flames we carry on.
That was horrible.
Yes, it was.
absolutely.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
But so that entire week under the blimp, they said that they saw cavalrymen running back and forth for some strange reason.
And then Ikta finally figures out why.
Basically, the blimp mapped the routes in the forest, and then they created an obstacle course so that were exactly the same as the routes, so that they could memorize the routes, so that they could just run through the flames without, basically just going off of memory and not actual sight.
And at the same time, they probably did it a little closer to the flames and got the horses used to the flames.
Well, yeah, it showed them running by flames too.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. So they got themselves and the horses used to the battlefield.
Yep.
It's kind of like doing belly crawls with, gunfire going overhead.
Which is,
And it worked to perfection.
Yep. And the 5 days of training that they did, that's actually sufficient enough time for a horse to actually get used to.
I'm actually surprised that they can get horses used to flames at all. Because, like leading a horse to water can't make a jig and all, but just about every animal on the planet has the instinct to run away from fire.
But
So that's
after
amazing.
about 3 or 4 days,
They
if
do
you have constant,
If you train them just hard enough.
absolutely constantly being around
I'd
fire.
also probably put blinders on them, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah. Or probably do like in the Chronicles of Riddick, just like douse everyone in water before you make your charge.
Then at the
Whatever
end of the
helps.
episode, we see the enemy army marching.
Just walking on through. Just getting ready.
Well, yeah, they're heading towards the battlefield, so
Yeah.
we may see some actual fighting next episode.
Well, I hope so. It should be the final episode.
Yep.
So, final confrontation between our sleepless, shining officer.
On the other side, something we forgot to mention.
Oh.
The very first scene in this episode, we got the
Oh, yeah.
princess barging in.
That was badass.
Oh my
yeah.
god. Scared the shit out of us. But
Almost forgot about her, but yeah. Oh,
Yeah, literally almost forgot about her. We haven't seen her since what, episode 4?
I totally forgot her name. But that little
Yeah, she
blonde
just
lolly is a
boots.
badass.
Boots her way into the meeting room with all the generals.
it hurt our ears.
Yeah.
It did.
And basically is like, oh, I see you guys retreated first. Generals, being, well, the safety of the commanding officers is important. Yes. You'll be needed for the military tribunal.
Ah, shit!
A collective shit for the ages. Oh yeah. It was
Tell 'em,
that.
princess.
It was at this moment that the generals realized
They fucked up.
Anyway,
But she does say, I need to tell Sir
Sir Lork,
so yeah.
Ikta.
Ikta. Need to tell
looking
Ikta
around.
something which is more or less hinting at some
Something.
second season coming.
Something. Yeah, I'm thinking something. Perhaps on the home front.
Yep.
Something pretty big.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously the series probably goes on past where this is. Because, as it's stated in the synopsis at the beginning of the series, it is the story of Ikta becoming a great general. And this is not even close to...
He's not a general yet.
Yeah, well, he's only a lieutenant.
Yeah.
But it's based off a light novel, so I assume there's probably way more material.
And I would love to see it.
Yeah, this is one of the better ones this season. I still don't think that it'll probably get a second season, which is unfortunate.
Which would
Well-
be a damn shame.
It all depends on sales, really.
It's still setting up.
Yeah.
It's a detail that I got to point out because it is setting it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're in Japan, buy it because we really want to see a second season of this.
Well, so we talked. We just finished filming Kenobi, the final episode of that, and we talked about how they didn't really do a good job ending that one just with the way open ending. This one is a little bit better to leave as an open ending because it's obvious that it's not telling the full story.
Yeah, if it ends with this battle, then that's fine. And then you can maybe kind of go on to the next story arc from there. But yeah, I mean, with something like Kenobi, then, kind of being slice of life, it's just an everyday kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sit as well.
This one is probably going to end with this next battle. Either that or it's going to cut midway. I'd be really pissed if it did that.
I would too.
Yeah, I think this decisive battle will just be the ending point for this season.
Yeah, it's kind of the
makes
perfect ending point.
Yeah.
And right at the end, the princess will show up and says, "Hey, I got to tell you something." And it might just cut it there, or it might just tell us what happened.
Or it might not even have them meeting up at all.
Yeah,
Yep.
maybe.
Like, I honestly don't. I could honestly see it as the battle takes up the majority of the episode, and then like the rest is them retreating back to the
To the garrison.
to the garrison or whatever.
For a little epilogue scene or whatever.
So anyway,
We'll see what
let us know
happens.
what you thought of the anime, what you thought of our reaction in the comment section below.
Yep, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't.
But that's going to do it for this episode of Anime Reaction. As always, I'm DK.
I'm Zero.
And I'm Rizzo. See you next time.